You are now tuned in to Respect the DJ podcast, coming to you live. Let's give Respect DJ welcome to DJ Fader, straight out of Tampa, Florida.
Yes, sir.
What's up, Fader?
What's happening, man?
Welcome to the podcast, man.
Thank you, man. Blessing to be here.
For sure, we're blessed to have you. Hey, Khalid, I know you got questions in front of you right now, right?
Yep.
I want to go straight to the questions. Why not?
You just want to get straight to the punch?
There's the punchlines, the storylines.
Get it popping.
I mean, I know personally Fader from I think mid-90s.
Yeah, definitely
Mid-90s, I think I was going to Tampa a lot.
Yeah, we were bouncing back and forth. Just doing a lot of trips between Tampa and Orlando.
Yes, sure. Definite. So there's a lot of history and a lot of stories to tell.
Yes, sir.
And stuff like that. So, let's start with some of the questions. And then from there, basically, we kick it off.
Let's do it.
So basically, for the people that don't know, how'd you get your DJ name?
So I started off originally calling myself King Cut. That was my first DJ name. And growing up and kind of being a fan of 80s hip hop, I heard King Cut, which was DJ Cheese. Wasn't sure if that was his name,
right?
Because he would say King Cut.
King Cut.
Yeah, I know you want a slice, scratching so nice, got to hear it twice. And I was like, it's a dope name, King Cut. And I liked it, but I wasn't sure if he was DJ Cheese or DJ King Cut, which me and him actually cleared that up. He said he was always Cheese. So by that time, I had already heard someone asked me one time, what's the number one component? What can't you DJ without? And I said, the fader. And that was it just rolled off my tongue. I said, you know what? I know there's going to be other faders. It's too practical.
Too common.
Right.
But fuck it.
Yeah, but it was a good, it fit, perfect.
It
went with the culture.
Well.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I mean, that was 89, 90. So I started at 87. By 90, I was calling myself fader. So
Right. Yeah, I started out, my first name was Finesse. Then I went to Skills. And then I wound up with Khalid because my name is Derek. So I took Derek, flipped it backwards.
Got it.
And did Khalid. You know what I mean? So I think everybody has a story on
For sure.
how they got their first name.
Shit, I was Junebug. I used to bug out in the class all the time.
Junebug.
And then actually when I moved down to South, I changed the double G to an ace G. And there was a DJ from back in the day from Harry Sounds, DJ Dewey.
Yep.
I was in his crib. He said, yo, Bug, you in the South now. Put an H into it. And I'm like, you know what? Why not call it Bug? You know what I'm saying? Give it that extra South. You know what I'm saying?
That twang, yeah.
That twang, you know what I'm saying? So that's how I got the Bug portion on that.
So what about any DJs? Anybody put you on? Was anyone you looked up to, took you under your wing?
Yeah, there was so growing up in high school when I came here from Connecticut, went to high school out in Spring Hill, Florida. There was a group kind of between Spring Hill and Clearwater called the Dedicated Brothers. And they were good friends with Kenny K, which is how I ended up meeting Kenny. But Jay Slice, who was the DJ from their group, kind of just a cat from Long Island, Italian kid, DJ for the rap group, went to high school with him. He was a B-boy. He was the first, literally my first experience seeing someone B-boy. Funny enough story, was actually in Spring Hill, Florida in 86. So saying that people weren't doing that here, I've always said, nah, it was popping.
Right.
It was popping. It wasn't maybe the same scene, but people were out here B-boying. They weren't breakdancing. They were B-boys. They were coming to school with gazelles on and Kangos. And
my era right there.
Yeah, this is 86, Spring Hill, Florida, an hour north of Tampa.
Right.
You don't expect to see that. So I was just blown away. He, I wouldn't say took me under his wing, but he would invite me over. I go to his garage, kind of similar situation to this. And they're just cutting up records and watching him and just taking notes. And I was just, between that and the BLS tapes and Latin Rascal tapes from like 92 KTU.
Right.
That's basically where I learned. Like, that's what put the stamp on it.
So, Fader, are you from Tampa? Originally from Tampa?
I'm originally from Connecticut. Stamford, Connecticut. Right? CT. Grew up in Spring Hill, Florida, but I came down here about 10 years old.
Okay, so...
Yep. But
born
the Tampa Bay
Connecticut,
area. Yeah.
Born Connecticut, but basically raised in Tampa.
Pretty much raised here. I mean, my introduction to hip-hop was here in Florida.
Okay.
I moved out of there before I knew what hip-hop was. I was 10 years old, still thinking I was going to be a stunt bike rider and shit. So
it's crazy because you was 10. So I'm doing the math correctly. When I was looking at 8, I fell in love with hip-hop in 83. So during that time, the Marley Marl, Mr. Magic, Red Alert, whole radio back and forth thing was going on.
The early '80s New York radio is the epitome of hip hop.
It was raw.
It's it's the epitome. There's nothing better than that. Those tapes and the influence that they created. It just, I mean, that's what's responsible for hip hop.
Right.
Crazy part about it, I still have those tapes.
Yeah, I've got a few.
I got Chuck Chill Out still on the radio back then. Yeah. The Red Alert, the Marley Marl, Chili Q. Am I saying it right?
Well, Chili Q was. He would fill in for
Marley Marl, right. But I still
the
got
youngest DJ in charge, Chili Q.
So,
shout out to Chili Q.
Exactly.
We actually keep in touch.
That's what's up. I still got his tapes. Who else I was recording, getting in trouble for all the time? The Awesome 2. Awesome 2 back in the days, I used to record them late night because they were on at 2 in the morning. My dad used to always scream on me.
Yeah, the 92 K, I would say those, they call them the Paco mix with the Latin Rascals.
Right.
Those Ultra mixes and just the real.
We're different. I'm 8 years old. Staying up that late on the weekends, recording these tapes, taking mom and pop's tapes and putting tape on top of the top of the tape.
Yeah, put it on the classic salsa joints.
Yeah, exactly. And then next morning they wake up Saturday morning. Yeah. Where's my shit?
Right.
Sorry, Mom.
Yeah, but Jay Slice really was to get back on that subject was he kind of, I saw what 1200s were. You know what I mean? I saw what the mixer did. He kind of showed me that because I was just, like I said, I was into the little freestyle BMX thing, riding motorcycles, and my pops was a motorcycle rider, so I just was doing all that when we came down here. And then about 2 months after moving to Florida, I got run over by a car on one of those motorcycles. So that kind of took a left turn from that. Started seeing MTV and staying in a crib more, not doing things. So I want to say my first song was The Message, honestly.
Message? Okay.
Was The Message. I remember hearing that in like 82, 83. Didn't really know much about it, but then kids I started talking to in high school from New York were just giving me those tapes.
In fairness, not to cut you off, for the listeners that are listening to us and hearing us who don't know The Message record, what was the group that actually took the record out?
Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five.
Thank you. Just got to get the history, you know what I'm saying? Because without that history, we won't be in this table right now.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but you basically, you just said how it all started for you and where you began. But what made you want to keep going? Was it just the there's a lot of reasons why I do it, and why I still try to do it.
It was really started going to clubs. And it was just the energy in the club dancing. I used to dance too. So I think the fact
dance
that
or break dance?
I was dance. I didn't b-boy or break. I was more, I would say, watching Scoop and Scrap.
Okay, there you go.
That type, the Kid and Play, that 2 men on stage, you know what I mean, rocking. There was a little bit of b-boy action in it, but it was just rocking. That's what we called it. Just rocking. We were just dancing. So watching that, going to the clubs, you know what I mean? Just, I think that made it more interesting for me to keep DJing. Like I didn't see myself going nowhere with dancing.
Right.
So I was like, let me just keep playing the music that makes people dance. And I was playing the music that people dance to, but no other DJs in the area were really playing. Right. Which is, that story, we could talk about that for hours. Like just growing up in that area at that time, like there was Kenny K on the radio, who was mid-'80s first hip-hop radio DJ in Tampa Bay, and then it was me. Like, I was fighting the grain.
I like how you said, me.
It was me, like, hands down. I mean, there's no disrespect. There was Kenny K, and then it was me.
Right.
Like, I was working my way through the teen clubs and the skating rinks and the bowling alleys and whatever the fuck you name.
Right.
When everyone was saying you can't play that music. You can't do that. You can't, that music's not gonna work in this city.
Yeah.
Play more bass music, play more dance music, techno. That kind of pushed me away from bass at the time. It was definitely a big mistake. I got rid of all my bass records at one time. I was like, fuck it. I love the music, but I hated the way the crowd was like, don't play that New York shit.
Right.
Don't play that rap.
It's crazy because
that's slow. That's slow music. Don't play that. You got to play this up tempo, the booty shaking.
Well,
music.
especially in the skating rink, that they want that.
It wasn't. It was the skating rinks, the clubs. It was that in Tampa.
Right.
You know, and I loved the music,
Right.
so I had a collection of it. But I was like, no, I want to be different.
Right.
So that's why I say it was me. There were other DJs, but it was me. I was putting in the work. I was working with the teen clubs. I had streets. I had people that I grew up with in the streets that were different than some of the other people coming up. You know, there wasn't, like I said, there was nobody believed that the hip hop I was playing then, people will be playing now. Like not, again, that's not a shot at the DJs in the area.
No.
The venues, the bar owners, the promoters,
Right.
they said it was never going to happen.
Right.
I'm gonna be honest to tell you the truth. I mean, we in Orlando. I'm from Orlando. You know what I'm saying?
And it was happening in Orlando.
But I'm originally from Jersey City. I moved out here in 92, 93. But it's not about me right now. But I want to say one thing about Tampa right now. Tampa is more hip hop than Orlando.
Oh, absolutely.
I'd rather go to
Absolutely.
a Tampa party or concert than go to Orlando. And this is my city.
Yeah.
I mean, Orlando's my, it's my brand.
It's funny you say that because there was a time in my life where coming out here was funner than being in Tampa.
That's what me and DJ June
Coming out here when
was
Heroes,
DJing the clubs.
when Heroes was running.
When Heroes.
Heroes was popping. Shout out to Howard Ringer. That was
HR.
popping. But I mean, even going back to like, I don't even know if I'm gonna say the name right. I think it was Skaggs or something. It was a movie theater that Nasty used to rock at.
That's oh man.
Skaggs or it was definitely in my team. I was definitely like 19, 20. I used to come out here trying to catch. I always wanted to hear live Twice as Nice.
Yeah.
Rich and Ray. I
Right,
always
right.
wanted
Shout out
to
to
catch
Rich and
them
Ray.
live.
They
Shout out
Miami-
to
they Miami.
shout out to Twice as Nice. Yeah,
Yes.
they were in Tampa. We can get Orlando radio. So when we didn't have Kenny on Saturdays, I don't know what everyone else was doing in Tampa.
Right.
But I was trying to tune in to Rich and Ray.
Right.
Right.
That's
When I moved here, Rich and Ray was on the radio.
Right.
Yeah.
And because they was doing the multi-mixes, the edits, and doing all that on the
Right,
radio,
right.
you didn't hear that. You were hearing Dawes Effects, you were hearing Lords of the Underground, you were hearing, and then they'd play dope house records.
Yeah.
And they play some dope freestyle records.
Right.
I'm like, you're not getting that in Tampa.
Yeah.
And probably never will.
Probably not. I don't know.
I mean,
I listen to some Tampa radio now. It seems like Tampa supports their local artists more, from what I hear. You know what I mean? As far as,
to a degree,
in Orlando,
Yeah.
they get zero. Local artists get zero play on the radio here. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Unless they're on a mixtape or basically, well, now with the internet, I mean, they're getting heard, but
Right.
a lot of,
It's a lot of it's
not
the
because
internet,
you
man.
hear.
It really is.
I always salute you for bringing that hip hop and keeping that hip hop in Tampa.
Appreciate it,
You know
man.
what I'm saying? Because Tampa to me, I'm going to the Wu Tang. The Wu Tang and Nas is this week.
It's a Wednesday, yeah.
It's Wednesday.
Right,
I'm
Wednesday,
going.
yeah.
Where's it at? Tampa. You know what I'm saying? It's not in Orlando. We skip Orlando.
But y'all just had Rakim. You guys had
Yeah, but it's
you guys
those-
had the Jizz. You guys
Yeah.
get shows.
We get
You
shows, but we don't.
man.
Those shows, not for nothing, they don't get the audience because it's not really promoted out there the right way. You know what I'm saying? It's not in the arena. You know what I'm saying? You just get arena shows. Okay? My last show, as a matter of fact, even my last show I went, it wasn't an arena, but it was the Jizza, Raekwon, and Ghost.
Right.
I went to that show. Where at? In Tampa. They skip Orlando again.
I think the last big show I went to was the Bad Boy reunion tour when they did it. It was in Tampa.
That was in Tampa, right?
Yeah.
Emily, right?
Yeah.
So again, I think Tampa still this day still gives good hip hop concerts and shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got some good shows coming out there.
They got some good shows. I think it's because of the NFL team.
You got the sport. I was just gonna say that
Yeah.
Orlando doesn't have
NFL team. That's
an
what it
NFL
is.
team,
yeah.
a baseball team. They got the basketball team, and you don't really have the. It's not a shot, but yeah, there's no
Yeah, it's the-
sports. There's nothing really.
Yeah, wait, don't
Right.
don't.
It's just.
It's about giving shots. And listen,
Yes.
we don't have it. We don't
like
have
I
it.
love
we just
Orlando.
don't got
Let's
it.
get it right. Y'all don't have nothing
We
for
got-
sports teams.
Yeah.
I think we had
Yeah.
some female football
Yeah.
team at one point.
Yeah, you had
I know-
the. It was like the AFL, whatever that league was with the shoulder pads.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be bringing the XFL back too.
Is it?
So,
Okay, so
but that's because that's why we're not a big market because we don't have the football
sport,
team.
right.
And the record labels will tell me that all the time. It's just
Y'all got the House of Blues. The best shows I've ever seen were at
House
House,
of
of
Blues.
Blues.
Yeah.
I saw Nas there, and that was, it was better than an experience of seeing him at one of those arenas. In my opinion,
right.
It's more, the setting is better.
I saw the Roots at House of Blues.
The Roots.
They put on an
shut
amazing
it
show.
down. Yeah,
Amazing show.
yeah. House of Blues that's the venue, man. Out here.
Oh yeah, for shows like that,
sure.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So who was the first DJ or promoter to put you on like in the club and you got like a residency or something like that, or a promoter that was like, you know what, whatever I do, we gonna use you and run with you.
God, man, it's name wise, I can't remember too many names back then. In '88, like right out of high school, I had a guy who opened up a club. It was a teen club, Newport Richey, Florida, called No Daddies. Don't ask me. That was the name of it. It was a teen club. I don't know.
Sounds kind of sketchy right
It
now.
was super
No
sus.
daddies.
It was called No
Off
Daddies.
the rip, baby.
Teen club. But he had heard me play at the skating rink. The skating rink kind of asked me to fill in for one of their guys one day. He approached me, said, "I'm opening up a teen club. Wanted you to come down."
Right.
Again, that was 88, 89, just out of high school. But promoters, man, there's a handful of promoters. I mean, that was my first like opportunity to get a paycheck from
Right.
it. 19, I was working at TCBY, driving a little lowrider pickup truck.
Had a little dancing bed on the back. and
Nah,
shit.
I didn't get to the dancing bed part, but yeah, we lowered and all. But yeah, he was the first person to like actually offer me money. And
Right.
I can't recall his name. I'm a little up there in age now. This is a while ago.
Right. How many crates of vinyl were you carrying around with you then?
I always carried 8 to 12.
All right.
8 to 12 was like my magic number. At that time, gosh, I would say when I first started doing the teen clubs, it was probably five crates.
So I have to
Probably
ask you.
repeating a lot of stuff and just
No, it's
learning.
okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
I have to ask this question. Why did you sell some of your vinyl? Actually, most of your vinyl. Coming from another DJ that still has his vinyl.
You and me
So
both.
to
You and
me, what the number one thing was when I started asking myself if I was gonna part with vinyl, it was, am I gonna play this? Am I gonna get a response from it? Am I gonna have fun playing it? And when I look at my record collection and I see all these records that I like, have them on MP3, I'm not gonna get no ooh and ah. I'm not gonna get a reaction from that on record. It's not, and I don't see myself having fun. A good example is "Holla Holla" by Ja Rule. I got rid of a independent, dope underground record, and kept that because the beginning, the dun 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 dun. It's
Right.
a fun record to play with.
with.
Right.
It's the crowd is gonna respond to it. This really dope underground hip hop record with a beautiful art cover is cool,
Right.
but I'm not gonna play it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm getting old. I don't want to lug these records around no more. That was the second part. I got tired of storing the records, carrying the records when I moved, and I just wanted to keep records in my collection that if I do a vinyl set, I'm gonna play and I'm gonna enjoy every record that's in them crates. I was never a planned DJ.
Right.
I wasn't gonna put a bunch of records in a crate and play it from front to back.
No,
I
you
just want to
just-
throw records in a crate
Yeah.
and go the same way I DJ now.
Right.
So doing it with vinyl, I wanted to make sure if I just throw a bunch of records in a crate, I was gonna go out and have records to go.
Right.
It was gonna be go time. That
Yeah, I
was it.
kind of miss those times too. Just you had your crates and you knew exactly where that one vinyl was at that you was looking for all the
I
time.
could tell by the way it was beat up. The sleeve was ripped this way. I
Right,
knew
right.
That's that Diamond D record.
Right, right.
It's ripped up because I played it a million fucking times.
And you could find it right away,
Right,
yeah.
knew where it was.
So coming to that, what do you prefer if you had a choice, vinyl or digital?
Digital. There's no quality. Vinyl wasn't always better sounding.
I like the low drop in the vinyl though.
But it wasn't always better sounding.
Right. Yeah.
Digital is definitely sounds better. I like sound. I prefer going to clubs and growing up in the club scene. I like the feel of the music. I wanted it
Right.
to have that and a lot of vinyl, man, between the vibration, the DJ booths were never isolated.
Never.
They were never isolated. I had to
Yeah.
go to Masquerade 4 hours early to carry 24 cinder blocks on the stage and set up cinder blocks on the stage because I was playing in such a big room that
Right.
I would never been
You get
able
that
to do
vibration, yeah.
I don't.
I used to
And
love
I
those
gotta
clubs.
carry those records, and I gotta do that so that my stuff don't vibrate. Nah,
Right.
digital, man.
Yeah.
Digital.
So circling back really quick, what do you think's more important, the DJ or the promoter?
I think the promoter don't get enough respect as the DJ does, because the promoter, if the promoter's doing their job right, let's rephrase that. If the promoter's the one out there, because we got to bring people, but that
Right.
whole thing about, oh, I'm gonna bring the DJ that brings the crowd. Nah, that's the promoter's job. I mean,
Right.
because what we're getting paid. If
Mm-hmm.
you want us to spend that time for me to promote the way a promoter's gonna make off that party.
Right.
From what they definitely need to. If they're doing their job, the promoter should get more respect than the DJ. If the DJ's pulling the weight, the DJ
Right.
should get the respect.
Now talking about that, Old Dirty Sunday, is that your event or you the DJ for that?
No, so Old Dirty Sundays is DJ Casper's event. DJ Casper started that event with Lesage, Mega, and Blenda. They started doing that party. I was actually just coming home. Started doing a party on Sundays at a sushi restaurant. Boring. I couldn't go to Old Dirty Sundays for the first year, but that's all everyone was talking about. So when that gig fell through, I fell through to Old Dirty Sundays, and I ain't missed a Sunday since.
That's what, 10 years now?
Yeah, they've been doing the party 11 years. My first job or my first gig at Old Dirty Sundays was at their 1 year anniversary, and I wasn't resident there till maybe 5 years ago. But I was there. I was lugging in with them. Partying afterwards. I was part of it, but I wasn't a resident DJ till like the last 5 years.
So what's the feeling that you get or you have when you're DJing with a lot of DJs' favorite DJs? I've seen the flyers as everybody goes to it. Every DJ I can think of internationally, New York, it doesn't matter. It goes to Old Dirty Sundays.
Yeah. It's really unreal, man. It's the best part about it is when those DJs actually pay attention. They come to the party early and they enjoy what we do. They're not taking offense to us still wanting to go in. I don't like that. You gotta take it easy before I go on. There's too much music out there.
That's my opinion too. There's too much songs.
I'm
too many
not
songs
getting a
out there.
chance to rock in front of you in your city.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And you're not gonna know about why I have the reputation I have if I'm not getting busy. Right. So it's fun when the DJs they enjoy that. They get into it with you. Scratch Bastard. Yo, that set reminded me of listening to mixtapes in the '90s.
Right.
That's when I hear you rocking. That's what I
feel.
That gives me goosebumps. Like that's what I wanted. That's what I want to have Scratch Bastard DJing with me for.
Right.
Because I want to have that communication. So yeah, that feeling's great, man.
That's great.
Yeah,
And
that's what keeps me doing what I'm doing.
I think
at
also
this point.
not too long ago on I forgot what show it was. I think it was the Drink Champ. They had Kid Capri. Mm-hmm. And Kid Capri was talking about a DJ who opens up before him. He don't even care if he plays the same set because the way Kid's gonna play,
it's gonna be different.
Right. Because Kid's gonna play 10 seconds of it.
Right.
15, 20 seconds.
Right.
And he's gonna keep it moving. He's gonna rock records that go well with the others. It's gonna say something. The wordplay is gonna be there. It might be over some DJs' heads, the crowd's heads.
Because he actually hired a DJ now that travels around.
Yeah. He just rocked in Tampa. He had an opening DJ.
Right. He has an open DJ now that plays records that he don't play, stuff like that. For that reason.
Yeah, and I get the not wanting to play the record the other guy played, but there's enough. Again, that goes back to planning a set.
Well, I think it also goes in what kind of event you're doing too. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because if you're doing a younger crowd, you already know what they want to hear, what the hits are going to be. When you have a bigger catalog, an older crowd, you have more music you can play.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And the DJ, you could tell that DJ knows the music. They were there when those records came out.
Right.
They know which ones work together from a person who just got that collection from their homie that put it on a flash drive for him.
Right.
Yeah, the
And they're
ones.
just like, oh, these are on
And put in their laptop.
right on Google. These are the top 100 rap songs of all time, and I'm gonna play that folder.
Right.
So.
And talking about laptop, at one point somebody stole your laptop, didn't they?
Yeah. My truck got broken into, so the laptop bag was in there. I've been robbed a lot in my life. I've been robbed a lot. I chalk one up, man. Just another one, but it sucked. I had
How long did they keep you down for?
Shout out Lesage and Casper, man. They came through. That happened outside of Crowbar one night. They had an extra laptop. I had my music on a backup. It was just, one thing I have done was been persistent about my backups, man.
Right.
It's, I can't express that enough. I do it not as often as I should, but I'm doing it at least every other week.
Good. All right.
So yeah, that's, I had my music backed up. They had an extra laptop. It was a week or so. I was out for about a week till I just got my music uploaded. Had to make my own crates again.
Did you ever find out who took it? Or just
Nah, I have some.
some fuck boy.
I
Some
have
fuck boy, that's what-
suspicions,
yeah,
man.
yeah,
I got
yeah.
suspicions. I got some good ideas, but it is what it is.
There's a lot of fuck boys in the city.
A lot of fuck boys.
Yeah. Like you said, the most important
man.
thing is that time machine backup, man.
Yeah, time machine. I live by that, man. You can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, I got once a week at least for me.
I don't do it.
Yeah, you got to do it, man.
Got you,
Trust
man.
me.
Especially
I
now
do the
with
hard drives.
yeah, like I just had to make the upgrade to a new Mac, and now with the new plugs and the way it is, it's 5 minutes, bro.
Yep.
It's super fast. You
Yeah,
just
any
plug it
change I
in.
make, I time machine it
Just
because
time machine it right up.
I had a actually when Serato first started, my Mac crashed on me, and I did lose. Luckily, I had it on a hard drive, but I had to rebuild everything all over
Yeah,
again.
mine crashed. My 2012 just recently just crashed. Luckily, the music, the guy I know, I have a plug out there, and he knows Apples. He's just a genius.
Right.
He was able to retrieve everything. I didn't lose nothing, but about 2 months from that, I decided to buy a new one. I said, nah, just gotta upgrade.
Same, mine too. My 2011 last year, motherboard went on it, crashed. It's gonna happen.
I still have
you know.
mine. 2011.
Nah, you better-
I upgraded to newer ones.
better
I
back
still
that-
have
you better back that
11.
up.
Oh, no, I backed that one
You
up.
better back
that one's
that
backed
Back it
up.
man.
Yeah,
Back it
that
up.
was backed up. Fred, I want to ask you. Back in the days, coming out of the hip hop scene in Tampa, did you do the mixtape?
I wasn't. Yeah, this.
Or was it just clubs for you only?
It was more clubs, man. I just a lot of it was a few things. I'm a perfectionist. Can never get over that hump. And living in apartments, man. Apartment
The
life
sounds,
it wasn't good for a DJ.
Right.
It sounded like shit in the apartment, and you knew I had respect for people I lived around. I wasn't gonna do that and then have them knocking on my fucking door every day and getting letters from the lease office. So I just I never had a place to really do things outside of a club. I was just doing the 9 to 5 and working 3 or 4 nights out a week in a club.
Well, I found this. You know what I'm saying? I found this for everybody who does see this. DJ Faders. It's actually, we call it a
That is
mixtape.
crazy.
You know what I'm
Right, right.
saying? Yeah, I'm not sure.
Which one is that? Oh shit, that's crazy.
I tell you, I keep a lot of stuff. A lot.
He's a
Yeah,
he's
my
a-
wife- I see that,
wife,
man.
My
I
wife
see
doesn't
that.
like me
That-
because of that reason.
He's
I
a-
keep a
yeah.
lot of, like I
And
said,
yeah, that's-
I still have tapes from Red Alert on the radio from back in the late 80s, early 80s, late 80s, Chuck Chill Out, Marley Marl. I mean, whoever was on the radio doing hip hop,
Right.
I'm recording, and I still have.
So
when
going
when
back to that,
when I
with-
moved out here in '93, I had my brother recording Funk Flex for me because during that time, that's when I think 103 turned to 97, something like that.
Yeah.
And I still have those tapes.
Right. So what you were saying earlier about the BLS tapes, growing up having those tapes down here, the thing that the cars, as hot as it got in the car, those tapes,
Oh, yeah.
like you had a mix that you loved, and you pop it back in a cassette player.
And the tape pop, like Biggie said.
And you're
low,
like,
yeah.
you look at the tape and it's the heat just destroyed. But I've got a couple left because the heat in the car is there. Just destroyed them.
So who was your biggest inspiration DJ wise?
Molly
Marley Marl?
Mall.
And if you-
100%.
100% why?
It was just his mixes stood out. His mixes included blends, they included cuts, they included just, he had a way of extending the record where, the short-minded people nowadays, everyone's so what's the word for that? When they're short,
Oh, the attention span?
attention span was
yeah.
so short. We were just talking about that on the way here. He had a way of making you hear Antoinette, I Got an Attitude for 5 minutes straight, and you were like, rewind.
Yeah.
Right.
You went
It-
back and listened to
it
what
was-
he did
yeah.
because he played with the words. He cut it up. And he had a way of extending that record that you went back and listened to it over and over again if it was the same record for 5 minutes.
Right.
That, even though I don't practice doing that, I want to try to keep it moving too. But that just stood out for me growing up because
Right.
it made you want to do more with the record than just play it and slap the next record in, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was just, I mean, his mixes were on point. His
His
selection,
His crew.
the Juice Crew was, I mean, that's my influence for hip hop, just the Juice Crew. Shan's voice and Shantae's voices made me fall in love with hip hop. I loved rap, but their voices were like,
Gave you that, draw that attention to you.
yeah,
Yeah, distinctive.
Who's
Yeah.
this?
it was
Yeah.
distinct, and it was just dope. The drum machine era, that's my favorite era of hip hop.
Right.
The drum machine era.
The 808s.
Yeah, just there wasn't, 84 to 86, 87, and then 87 to 89. 84 to 89 is my favorite. That was the most influential part of hip hop.
That's crazy.
So who do you, besides Marley, who else do you have a lot of respect for, as far as DJs or?
A lot of them, man. I mean,
So right now, so you
the Philly DJs were always, stand out.
So who's your top 5 DJs now? And 5 top DJs back then?
I don't have a list, but back then I want to say Marley. Of course, Kenny K, man. Kenny in Tampa was very influential. God, man, there's so many different
so many
DJs.
DJs.
For different styles. That's
Right,
the
different
thing.
style.
Like I've got
Right.
DJs. I've got
There's
DJs.
there's no wrong answer.
Right, there's DJs that I hold here for their cutting ability and technical stuff. Then I got DJs that I look up to for rocking the mic, and then DJs who go in the studio and just, blow your mind with some multi-track mix. Just
Right.
there's just too many of them, man. Just too many to name top 5. But like my biggest influence is Marley, Kenny K, Latin Rascals, Jeff, Cash Money, like those guys.
He means Jazzy Jeff.
Jazzy
Yeah.
Jeff, yeah. So
Yeah, those guys, because they were just like my team. Like those were the technical guys and mixing guys from my
right,
youth.
right.
You know.
So if someone's coming, let's say, if there's a DJ coming to town, like you're gonna make time to go see who would that be?
Yeah, that list is too long. One DJ that I'm gonna make.
Who's one maybe that you haven't seen yet?
Melody. Melody's probably my we're trying. That's someone we're trying to get for Old Dirty Sundays in the future. Melody is just one of those guys that's technical and just keeps you rocking right there with him.
Right.
Yeah, he's probably my definitely top.
So what's most memorable night for you? Let's say hip hop. As a DJ, you went to see somebody, whether but
Memorable night would probably be rocking with Chris. I had an opportunity. Shout out Sandman. Sandman had booked KRS. This was probably 95. It was shortly after I started Masquerade. So I want to say 96, 97.
I think I was there too.
Right, and he
I think we were there.
he wasn't right. He wasn't touring. He never really toured. He doesn't really bring many DJs with him.
Right.
He's been known for that's his kind of thing. He goes to the town. He finds somebody in that town that he networked with,
right.
and he has them rock.
right.
I had been rocking before, and before the show, which shout out to Sandman again. He had me open up for all the shows he had been promoting back then, and I went backstage, and Sandman approached me and said, "Chris wants you to go back on and rock with him, like when he freestyles." And I'm like, "Nah, dude, you kidding me? I ain't doing that, man. That's intimidating as fuck. I
Right.
ain't going back up there and not for Chris." He goes, "Nah, bro. He heard you. He was listening to you rock the whole time, and he wants you to come back up there." So I just went back up there. We knocked out I just picked out 4 instrumentals. I think it was shook ones. I played it safe,
Right,
I played
right.
the ones I knew. He told me just pick whatever you want. He didn't specify anything. But yeah, I played some records that I knew were gonna work. He rocked to them. Had the crowd shout my name, whatever. I was the resident there. They all knew me anyways.
Right.
But that was probably the most intimidating, probably dopest thing I've done. Yeah.
So I want to ask you, there was some years that you were missing. You were not in the hip hop scene, you were not DJing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people could probably look up your government name and find out why, stuff like that. So out of respect, like I always say, Fatal, let everybody know why is the reason why you was absent.
It was pretty much a cut and dry case of me not cooperating. I didn't cooperate with the police investigation on a murder charge. My best friend was involved. I was questioned. I wouldn't give up any information. It wasn't even a. I don't even want to go and say, use the no snitching mom. That's
Right,
it's a little overrated.
Yeah,
Right.
no.
It was just doing the right thing. I didn't see what happened. I walked away from an incident that escalated, and I was DJing. Was inside of a club. Situation popped off. 2 bouncers got popped. One of them passed. I was caught with the weapon. I basically, when I was questioned about how I got it, where it came from, I shut my mouth.
Right.
Was it right? Was it wrong? It was what I was raised to do. I do it all over again today. I got no quarrels with what I did. I think at that time of my life, certain events that were happening and transpiring around me, people I was with, I was gonna go there anyways.
Right.
I had to tell. That was probably the worst thing I had to say to my mom was, "This was good," So I did 5 years basically for not cooperating. Took a plea. Didn't want to go to trial. There was a lot of things that would have fucked me that way. So
Right.
took a plea, man, and just did 5 years straight.
And listen, God works in mysterious ways, and you bounce back.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? And you bounce back, and that was real good to hear stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, and I mean, even him, like, the situation of there's no hard feelings. I still keep in touch with him. A lot of people may think that's, fucked up. I don't give a fuck, man. That's my dude. Like, the dude involved with this, a lot of people say, he did this to you, he did that. I would be DJing events, and again, 12 crates deep of records.
Right.
He's carrying
He'd
records.
be cross town and some pussy.
Right.
Let's keep it real. Be cross town and some pussy. And I could text him. Or page him. Shit.
Page him,
That
yeah,
back
yeah.
then, I'm
Page him,
paging.
yeah.
And guess where he was at 3:15?
Helping
He was
you
at
out.
the side of the club helping me carry records.
Right.
I had roommates that would avoid me for 3 hours. They go out to eat.
Yeah.
They go do this, go do that. Say they was getting pussy. They wasn't getting pussy.
See, I can always find people.
And they come back like
to
3
go to the
hours.
club.
I loaded up the records and was asleep and heard them coming in. And he would be across town. And sometimes he didn't have a car. I don't know how he got
You
there.
found a way.
He
Well,
got
I like
there.
to a lot of people. Well, me, I like to call that sweat equity. When
Right.
somebody puts into you, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
So when they say, "Why didn't you tell them?" I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna tell my enemy. I'm gonna tell someone like that.
Right.
Just get the fuck out of
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Shit.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to if you in that lifestyle and you live in that lifestyle, you know what you're into, you know what
Yeah, man.
you gotta stand up for. You know what I mean?
Yep. 100%.
So yeah. So what's as far as like up and coming DJs, what's a lot of mistakes you see them making now, or things you may not like or something like that?
I think newer DJs. I think the best way to. I've been saying this a lot recently. Is that I think a lot of the newer DJs, you can hear their influences. They take too much from the people that they look up to,
Right.
instead of using it as inspiration. I would say that's probably the biggest mistake I see DJs doing. They want to sound like their inspiration. I don't want to sound like Marley.
Right.
You may notice that I was brought up listening to him, but you ain't gonna say he's doing what Marley did.
Right.
You know what I mean? You got a million DJ AMs. Respect the AM, but you
Yeah.
got a million.
Yeah.
Oh, I could go from this genre to this genre like that? Nah. If it's not done creatively, it doesn't make no sense.
Yeah. There'll never be another AM. That's for sure.
Yeah, and and I'm not even a fan of that style. I respect him, but I just never was a fan of that style. Just wasn't my thing, wasn't my lane. It was just, I grew up in nightclubs and, people who listen to music, not just people who are going to party. So, yeah, I think most DJs now, they just try to sound too much like their inspiration. They don't have any background with the music. They're just knowing what's popping, what's not. They're not really into the culture of the music. They don't know why this record,
Right.
works. They just know it. They heard it was on the list.
Yeah. I think my gripe with it is it's too easy for them nowadays. You know what I mean? I had to go from record store to find at least one piece of vinyl of something. If I couldn't get a double, I took that single.
Yeah, the reason I didn't buy a lot of other music was because we had this conversation on the way here. I didn't want to buy those disco breaks and funk records because I had to buy doubles of the hip hop records and I was struggling.
Yep.
I was working a 9 to 5, barely. This was when rent was $540, $550 a month.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I was struggling to pay that. and I was DJing 3 or 4 nights a week,
Yeah.
and I had to buy vinyl, so I wasn't buying I was buying doubles of hip hop records when I could find them.
Yeah, I think that's why I hold it, close to my heart, because it's just you had to put in the work. You're not just going to YouTube or joining a record pool online.
Work, sacrifices. We had to sacrifice a lot.
Right.
A lot of grilled cheese,
Hot dogs,
hot dogs,
no buns,
hamburgers,
Dollar burgers from McDonald's.
bread. Yeah,
mayonnaise sandwiches.
sacrifices.
Sacrifice.
Yeah, it's
To make sure we get that.
sacrifices, man.
And I think back in the days, I think the records, I can remember they were, I'm thinking 379, 399, something like that, and got to 425, and then it got to the 499.
Yeah, when it
Then
was
when I moved out
$4.99.
here, I was like, fuck, 899, 1299. Shit.
Yeah, $4.99 was like your average 12, and if you saw like a dope house record, for example, that you liked, that shit was like 13,
Yeah,
14
they were
bucks.
$20 sometimes.
Right.
The house
Yeah.
records were
Yeah,
insane.
for sure. And then you were getting one record.
Yeah. Yeah, the house records were
Those are good.
insane.
I love the music. I ain't buying that.
Right.
You know?
There was a big record store in Tampa. I've been
We
there a
had a
couple of
few.
times.
So you had Galaxy Records, which wasn't
Galaxy-
big, but
Galaxy.
it was
Big,
it was
but
a good
it had a good
good
selection of
collection, and you
records,
had Vinyl Fever.
Right.
Of course, we had Peaches back in the day, like
Yeah, everybody
they
had
had out
Everybody
here.
had
yeah,
Peaches, yeah.
Peaches.
Florida State or what?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Peaches back in the day, and there were a few shops, but Bananas Records is probably like that's a world-renowned place
They're still
in
around?
Tampa. Yeah, it's a warehouse. They have a warehouse and a storefront. And I mean, DJs, a lot of the DJs that you see coming to Tampa actually for Old Dirty Sundays come here because they want to go record shopping there. So it's Bananas Records and Warehouse. They're over in St. Pete.
Okay.
Yeah,
I had to check that out.
big. Yeah,
definitely,
definitely want to check that out. That's a trip. You plan to go there for the day, go to a restaurant, eat, chill out, holler at your boy, man. We'll make a trip.
No, for sure, for sure. Talking about DJs real quick. So you're from Connecticut, moved to Tampa area, stuff like that. Know a lot about hip hop. You know what I'm saying? But you're also in the South. You know what I'm saying? So your opinion doesn't matter from is at a DJ point, a production point, DJ Drama or DJ Khaled?
Drama.
Why? If you don't mind asking. Production.
I
the
want
artist.
to say he's more hands-on. Khaled is, he's unique. He's got his qualities and his uniqueness. I think Drama. I went to Atlanta one time years ago. Went to a Drama party, and and you could just hear it. You know what I mean? You could hear it in his music, his selection. Khaled's Khaled. You know.
Yeah, it's
I
funny.
think, yeah.
Me and my wife, I went to Vegas, and I'm like, yo, let's go to the club. I want to check somebody out here, on the West Coast, see what they playing or whatever it is, see what they doing. So we go to Caesars, right? We just pick whatever. We ask somebody, where are they playing hip hop tonight? We walk in, it's Drama. I could hear Drama at home, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
But-
How did he do?
No, he did amazing, especially even in the Vegas side of things, just you got to play more open format, but
Yeah.
he kept it South. That was
Yeah.
for sure. You know what I mean?
You got one more question?
Yeah. What would you give for up and coming aspiring DJs that just waking up today? Hey, I want to be a DJ. What kind of advice would you give them?
I would definitely say know your gear, know what you're getting into before you invest a lot of money. Don't go out there and spend 3 racks on a piece of equipment if you're not going to get into it, not fully anyways.
Right.
There's a lot of options out there for gear, but I would also say don't hold back. Someone asked me a similar question about teaching before. Like, would you teach up and coming DJs? And I said, I don't think I could because I'm not a fan of teaching someone how to DJ as I am of teaching them what to use to DJ, I guess.
Right.
And I always said, if I taught someone from square one, you're going to get an allowance. We're going to go to record store. You're going to pick out the records.
Right.
I'm not helping you. When you're going to pick out the records, we're going to go back. I'm going to show you how to mark them, tape them. Play with those records. You're gonna match 2 beats on vinyl before you ever touch an MP3. Like, you're gonna learn that. I don't want to teach technique. I don't think you should be taught technique.
Right.
You learn technique from like I want it to be organic.
The practice, yeah.
Right. So up and coming DJs, I think they should try to do things more organically, learn things on their own, watch videos. I mean, coming up, I didn't have no instructions. I heard those tapes. I had to figure out how they were doing it. I went to Jay Slice's garage, saw the equipment, got some equipment handed down to me. They were belt-driven turntables with a Radio Shack mixer.
Yep.
And I just started playing. I understood what beats per minute were. I started taping the records with the numbers on them.
Right.
I didn't have the Google. I didn't say, hey, what's BPM? You know, how do I mark? You know, I didn't have all that.
Right.
I had to do that in Spring Hill, Florida in 86, 87. I was doing that.
That was dedication, is what, you know.
Doing what legendary DJs in other cities were doing in Spring Hill, Florida.
Not knowing if you were doing it right or wrong.
Right or
just
wrong.
doing it, yeah.
And I just so happened I was doing exactly what they were doing.
Right.
So, yeah, I'd say learn more organically. You know, don't go by what the internet tells you to do. Get to know the DJs around you, which ones have been doing it for a while. That's probably the key.
Right. I think that's a flaw in the DJ, maybe even the hip hop community. They don't really go back to do their history. You know what I mean? Even with
It's
the music.
That's
It's the
music too,
image.
yeah.
It's the image. I mean, let's face it. I mean, everyone's guilty at some point in life at looking at something and kind of wanting to be that guy.
Right.
So people are going to the party and they see the DJ and they see he's in control of the music. Oh, wow, he's the life of the party, you know?
Right.
And they want to do that, but they don't know the history of it or the cultural part of it,
Right.
you know?
So if you had a choice, and this part of the segment is called "The Choice Is Yours," house party, club parties, or corporate parties?
Corporate's done. Scratch that. Club.
Club.
Yeah, club. Sound, house parties, you can make sound great, but there's nothing like playing on a dope sound system, man. And I don't play on dope enough sound systems often enough.
Now, how many dope house parties you had back then, though?
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, there's been some dope house parties, but from a DJ's that creativeness and just that, you know, that rush that you get in a club on a sound system and you feeling that bass knocking, just that's what made me love it.
Okay, but I'm done with my questions.
Yeah. What about, so this is a funny one, yeah. So what about this? Bottle girl, bartender, or groupie? What would you prefer?
I forgot about that one.
Bottle girl, bartender, or
groupie.
groupie? Bartender.
Make sure those drinks are right.
Yeah, I think you get
'Cause
bartenders
the
in
bartender can turn to a groupie, though.
Well, no, I think
right?
yeah, the groupie. I mean, the groupie. The groupie. The bottle girl is too. Again, that's too flashy. I think the bartender's the hustler.
Right.
The bartender's got to hustle. They're there. They gotta. Their job's like the promoter. I mean, you've got bars that wouldn't be shit
Without the bartender.
without them bartenders.
Yeah.
There's some bartenders out there that work.
Oh man, I seen.
They are working. And
I
they,
seen
and
some-
they
They
make
really
the money.
hustle.
Yeah, and if they hustle right, they making the money. I mean, I know bartenders who work 2-3 nights a week and they're traveling the world.
I seen some. They'll go up to the bar. Boom, boom, boom. Take 5 orders.
And most of them are humble. They're polite. A lot of bottle. Hey, I know some cool bottle girls.
Some girl, yeah.
A lot of them think their shit don't stink.
Well, you know,
though.
they IG
you
models.
know,
man.
the IG models. They got 1,000 likes because of their ass. You know, but respect to the ones who are like humble and you know
Right.
still know who they are.
And not for nothing, talking about bottles. Hey, Khalid, show that bottle right there. One of our sponsors, P1 Vodka, straight from Orlando.
All right.
Get you some
I
of that
can't
P1
do no
vodka.
though. Vodka's not my thing. Vodka kills me. And if I drink vodka, I'm getting rid of whatever I eat for the last 3 days.
Oh man.
It's bad.
So I'm going to the next segment of the podcast. It's called Who Sample. So we're gonna play a sample, and you can tell me what artist, the name of the song it got used on.
Can I use like my phone? Cheat.
You
Yeah,
can.
she gonna Shazam it.
Cheat. I don't even remember the name of songs I like playing every
The
week.
first sample we're about to play is a little long in the beginning, so wait till the actual sample comes in.
Okay.
And Spook, you ready, Smokey? I'm ready. All right.
My magic potion for love, telling him I'm sincere, and that there's nothing too good for us.
Stop it.
It's Patrice Rushen, right?
No. Yes, but give me the artist.
Am I right though? But am I right?
Yes.
Yes,
Well,
Patrice Rushen.
yes.
Yeah. So
Okay.
who used it?
Who used it? Multiple people used it, but it's one that sticks out.
I'm saying it in my head. I know. That's one thing about me from other DJs. I'm gonna get back to that
Right,
subject.
yeah.
But there's things I admire about some DJs who can pinpoint those titles, the sounds.
Samples.
Like I know dudes who know they hear a song and they're like, this was sampled by this one in 1973.
Right.
And I never. That's a quality.
It's a lot of work. Yeah.
It's a
Believe me.
brain, man. It's the way your brain works.
Right.
I was pushed through high school. You understand me? They wanted to get rid of me because I was writing on the desks and shit. You know, I was tagging the desk, so I don't have that that reading. I used to read the back of the credits and see the names. I remember, but I couldn't remember those samples. Like,
Samples,
you know, I had to ask if that was Patrice Rushen because I'm like, am I taking a guess? It was a good guess, I guess.
Right? No, it was a great guess. Actually, it was a great guess.
But yeah, I gotta hear it again.
The crazy
Can you
part.
play it again?
The crazy part about it, though, you got the original sample name,
Right.
but not the actual artist who got
Which
the
is
sample.
what I would normally get wrong.
Right.
My brain thinks that way. I don't know the name of the sample, but I know the song. I'll be playing that song and go, what the fuck was that
You want to
sample?
hear the sample again?
Oh, the song. You want to go to the song?
Let's go
Yeah,
to the
I
song. Go straight to the song.
Go straight
Yeah,
to the
no,
song.
go to the song, because I'm not going to guess it.
You know what I'm saying? Represent for the fam. From crazy ass queens, you know what I'm saying? One time for your mind.
Stop it.
Check.
Who's that?
You know what's that, right?
Is
This
it Lost?
is your error. This
It's
is your
Lost Boys, right?
no.
Nah.
You used to say yeah.
No.
He's been this person's actually recently he's been
AZ.
no. One more time. One more. This person's been in the media a lot lately
lately.
too.
Play
Yeah.
it again.
Play it again. Let it rock. Let it
Let it
rock.
rock.
Let it rock.
You know what I'm saying? Represent for the fam. From crazy
Let
ass
it
queens,
rock,
you
let
know
it
what
rock.
I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? One time for your mind.
Geronimo.
Yep.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah, that's Mike.
For those who don't know the
Yo,
word,
shout out Mike Geronimo, man. Good.
Geronimo, you know what
A
I'm
funny story, man. So when I came home, I gotta tell this story, man.
Now go ahead. It's
When
your
I
platform.
jumped, I came home, and I don't know if you remember DigiWax.
Yes.
Oh, of course.
All right, so when you went on, DigiWax was responsible.
They're still out.
They were responsible for me catching up with music from, I went away from 04 to 09. So all those records that came out in that time when I came home, DigiWax had those.
Right.
So I'm going through there and I'm just hustling, just
Downloading,
downloading, ripping vinyl, downloading from DigiWax. Well, on DigiWax, you had to leave a comment
Yep.
Every
why
song.
you like
Right.
the song.
In order to
whatnot.
download it, yeah.
Download,
I
yes.
did that for all those fucking records. And one day I got a call and it was Mike Geronimo. I'm like, wow, I'm leaving comments on all these records,
Right.
not knowing the artist or who's listening.
Someone's
who's
actually reading it.
reading them.
Yeah.
And he's like, yo, I appreciate your comment, blah, blah, blah. We chopped it up for like an hour. I'm walking around my mom's pool. Like, I'm talking to Mike Geronimo.
Right.
This is crazy. I mean, it just like, I just jumped. I left a comment on your joint. And so shout out to Mike Geronimo, man, for putting in that
Yes,
work and
shout out.
and keeping in touch with the DJs,
Right.
doing the thing that you're
Right.
supposed to do. Like,
Exactly.
if I had a joint, you had a joint, and you got that feedback from
Mm-hmm.
a DJ, you're going to appreciate it. A lot of artists don't do that. They don't care about you.
They don't care. They don't
You know,
care
but
at all.
shout out, yeah, it's all right, Mike.
Yeah, you did talking about DigiWax, but I don't know if you remember Cornerstone.
I remember Cornerstone,
They used
the
to do the
mixtapes and
mixtapes.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but on the like the CDs, those were a lot when I was away too. Because I remember Sandman. I know
The
Sandman
CDs.
actually got a chance.
He did
to-
one,
He
yeah.
did one.
Yeah.
And I remember when I came home, he had a bunch of those for me, like
Yeah.
a few Cornerstone mix.
I still
CDs.
got my Cornerstone CDs.
Yeah.
Those are good times, man. All right, let's go move to the next sample.
Oh, there's another one.
It's 4 total.
Oh. It's Mob Deep. That's Shook Ones.
Let's see.
No.
Not Shook Ones.
Still shining.
There you go.
There
Still
you go.
shining.
Still
Let it
shining.
rock.
Yeah,
Play
still
it.
shining. Yeah.
Yep.
As
Yeah,
you
that
see,
one-
we
that's
cut it
easy.
short because of copy.
Yeah, Mob Deep. That was. I knew. Yeah.
We gotta cut it short.
Definitely. Yeah, of course. Copyright.
Got 2 more.
Next
Oh,
one.
damn. Fucking, I don't know.
Play the original. Go ahead. Can hear that drum machine.
Because the sample right here.
LOG.
Yes, sir.
LOG.
All the tea
and the
chat.
The
Bulldog.
other one, the last one.
That's-
One more time.
Play it again. It's that keyboard or piano.
In the beginning. You giving up?
Is it Gangstar?
There you go.
There you
DJ
go.
Premier.
Yeah. Deep concentration.
Yep, there you
yeah.
go.
Yeah, that's what I heard. It.
Yo, give him a round of applause.
There you go. He got,
He got 2 out of 2.
he knew where he was going. He was in the right zone.
Yeah, I know it. Like, it's the names. Again,
the names,
it's the
right.
names. Like I can hear it. Again, that's when I'm mixing too. That's the thing. It's like I hear it and I'm going crazy on Serato, looking for the song, thinking I know the name of it. Then someone comes up with interruption.
Interruption.
You know what I'm
ADHD.
doing right now?
ADHD.
You know what the fuck I'm doing?
They doing the phone thing?
Do you know where my mind's at right now?
This is my rocket science right here. This
Yeah, that's how it is when
They're
you're
doing the
DJing.
phone thing. They're like, request.
yeah, they got
No,
that.
I have that ba-na-na-na-na in my head and I'm trying to figure it out. That's it for the samples?
That's
for
it. That's
samples.
a sample for
4
you.
samples.
All right.
In and out. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I went deep looking for those samples because I know
No, that's
who,
that was
who
good.
I'm interviewing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Props to you on that. That's a good one. Good selection.
So for that. So we're done with the questions. You gave me your top 5 DJs. Not really, but you gave me basically who, you know.
Didn't we do that?
We touched a little bit on it. You could give me 5 DJs.
5 DJs.
You couldn't give me 5 DJs at all.
No, I thought I did.
No,
of
give me
inspiration.
2.
Of newer.
Or older. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, he gave us a list of some DJs, but he said there's so many DJs out there.
Right. There's just so many to.
Specifically named, you know.
How about up and coming DJs in Tampa right now? Is there somebody that you think is like has a lot of potential? You know what I mean? Like
There's a lot, man. Tampa's a DJ strong city, man. It really is. There's a lot of DJs, and you got so many transplants, people moving in there.
right.
That there's a lot, man. I mean, Charlie Chase lives in Tampa.
Oh yeah.
You know, but up and coming DJs, man. There's quite a few, man. I mean, shout out my man Keys, Flacco, my homie Danny Vintage who made the trip over. He's just a music head, man. So he knows music. So even younger DJs that are older that have that music background,
Right.
You know, there's a lot of up and coming older cats. There's a lot, man. Flacco set the bar though, man. Shout out to Flacco. He came through Old Dirty Sundays recently and crushed it. Keys always crushes it. Those guys are pretty dope. Keys has entered the DMC a few times in Tampa when I've thrown that. He's just a overall dope DJ producer.
Did you ever
He does-
battle?
I never. So I battled, but I didn't really battle. I never really got into the competition stuff. I remember kind of like the skating rink thing. It was more or less like, I'm better than this guy. I'm gonna show up and just kind of
Crush 'em.
yeah, and that's how I kind of got it, you know. So it was like, it wasn't a battle. It was just kind of like I remember going to clubs from 19 to 25 and getting a chance to get on and just being like, I'm not gonna take your job, but I'm gonna leave here with a job. You know what I mean? Because you're gonna go home and practice some more.
Right.
Right.
You know, that was kind of my thing. Was just like it wasn't battling. It was just like I knew where I was compared to some of those guys.
I think when you're a good DJ or a great DJ, that friendly competition is always the best thing.
100%.
You know, especially if it's someone you work with week to week.
Right.
Oh, I can't wait till I play this next week, and,
Yeah.
and he hears this mix right here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's always a
Yeah,
good feeling.
When coming home and like trying to get into that, like what was going to inspire me to DJ again. That's like, that's why I kind of shout out Casper for it. Was going to Old Dirty Sundays and catching him in his zone, and he's one of those guys that's mind thinks. He knows what 5 records just used that little sample,
Right.
and he's got them lined up, and he's bouncing around. And watching DJs do that with the technology now and stuff, that's what made me say I'm gonna learn it. I'm gonna master it.
Right.
I don't have no frown upon using that shit no more.
Yeah.
I was against sync. Guess what? I'm using sync now.
Right.
I was against, you know, all that.
Yeah,
I was
but-
telling
but-
Sam, man, when I was locked up, fuck that. I'm coming home and playing records. He's like, Fader, there's not gonna be records when you come home.
Yeah.
He's like, there's not gonna be no vinyl. They're doing away with it.
Right.
And I'm going, I'm gonna carry those records.
Yeah.
And I was addicted, man. I started ripping my vinyl. I was like,
I see
nah,
that.
man. It's like,
You was
yeah.
all over IG ripping shit.
I was, and I
I
rip
re-
them over
yeah.
again because it gets better. Like I ripped them when I came home. They were at like
It
128
wasn't as
and
good.
192.
Yeah.
And then now I'm finding the 320 versions,
Right.
and when I play that, I'm
Not-
going, holy shit.
Well, that now you could do a
record's-
wave
yeah.
file, and
Right.
you know. So yeah, I'm with you
You
on
know,
that. I got to
so, yeah.
rip a bunch of mine, but you know,
There's things on the records that I want to rip that aren't available. It's the dubs, the extended versions on.
no. It's right here.
Yeah, there's like versions on some of those, 12 inches that I'll go back and rip. You know, my freestyle collection. You hear people playing freestyle, they ain't playing that dub.
Right.
No.
You know,
And the
they
best
don't have
part
that
of
Latin
freestyle
Rascal
is the
dub or that
dub.
Charlie D
The
dub.
dub is the best part of the album,
Right.
of the single.
So
Yeah.
when I rip those, I'm like, I got some
joints.
stuff here.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna hear this version.
Right.
But yeah, he was telling me nah, and I'm like, nah, fuck Serato, fuck all that. I was locked up being stubborn. I came home and I said, I'm gonna tackle that shit. I was showing people that were playing on Serato from '04
Mm-hmm.
when I went away, showing them how to do certain stuff because I was just learning it.
Picking it up. Yeah.
But you mastered the craft doing the vinyl, first of all. That was,
Of course.
You didn't go straight
I
into,
earned it.
Yeah, you didn't go straight into
Yeah, I earned it.
cheating, going straight into Serato.
Yeah, nah,
into sync
I
buttons.
ain't got to prove that I can mix
Exactly.
two records no more.
No,
so
no.
if sync is going to allow my hands to be free, all right, so if people say, oh, you're using sync, fuck sync, blah, blah, blah. So you're saying fuck Craze. I mean, he's one of the greatest DJs of all time. And he was the one who said, don't you want your hands to be free? Like, I know you want to get busy with the record.
Right.
So that frees up your hands. I can mix those two records. And I'm already using an MP3. I'm already using technology.
Right.
You know, I mean, I don't use it because I can't mix two records. I'm
Right.
not using sync to mix a 16-bar intro and an 8-bar intro.
Right,
If you
right.
can't do that, and
Yeah, there's
get
no
off
hope, right?
get away from the turntables.
Right.
You know, I mean, that's 16 bar. I can look at the wave and go, okay, it's
The song's gonna drop right here. Yeah.
gonna drop right there.
So, right now, the last final question. What you working on now? Anything current?
I'm working on a lot of things, but nothing. I'm working on a lot of things, but nothing. It's just really a timing thing, man. Again, it's work. Having to pay the bills with the regular job. I have more time. I'm working from home, so I have a little bit more time now. I've been practicing cutting a little bit more. So, in between calls, if it's a slow day, I might have the turntables over here with my computer for work here, and in between calls, I got the headset on and I'm trying to cut. Or I have a weekday off now, so I'm trying to like make that a productive date. You know what I mean? Like my Mondays, I'm gonna try to dedicate as my production day. I don't care if it's just recording a blend, or doing it. I did a Afro tribal house kind of mix the other day. Just woke up, picked up 12 records, said I'm gonna mix these. Wasn't trying to press no DJs. It was
Right.
just a mix. It was Monday. I want to do something. I want to keep it simple, and I did it. And shit, I had more people ask for that download than tapes that I've done in the past that I put work into. So, I'm just trying to be productive. Got really nothing. Just rocking Old Dirty Sundays, rocking my Saturday gig at Orbit 19. Starting a new weekly down in St. Pete. It's gonna be once a month right now, but no projects.
So let everybody know how they can contact you, where they come see you live.
All right. Old Dirty Sundays, Crowbar, Ybor City, Tampa, Florida. Every Sunday, 11 years. Going on 10 years, Orbit 19. It's Pinellas, Pasco County. It's right by Tarpon Springs. That's the best way to tell anyone if they know that side of Florida. It's right around Tarpon Springs. Orbit 19, Saturday nights. Been there going on 10 years. Those are the two most consistent places. I'll be doing the Wednesday will be at the Benz, downtown St. Pete on a Wednesday night. DJ Fader on Instagram, just DJ Fader. There's 2 copycats on there. One looks just like me. Shout out to that. He's in Boston. Shout out to DJ Fader in
To the
Rhode
Boston?
Island, Boston. He looks just like
To
me.
the doppelganger.
Yeah, dude, I get tagged in this stuff all the time. Shout out to him. But yeah, man, DJ Fader, Instagram. That's my only social, man.
Social.
Facebook was getting me into too many fights. I was gonna go back to prison.
Yeah, that's like the TMZ right there.
Keeping,
No
you're
lie,
keeping
like,
Fader
yeah, no
out of
lie.
prison.
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
Facebook is evil. Yeah.
Keeping Fader out of prison. Many thanks to our loyal listeners and our viewers. Catch us on the next one. Respect the DJ Podcast. We out.
Let's go.
Peace.
Peace.
Street Dreams Music Group. Play that. Play that. Play that.
Hip-hop pioneer and radio DJ Mr. Magic debuted on WHBI in 1979 with Disco Showcase. After a few short years at WHBI, Mr. Magic moved over to WBLS with the first exclusive rap radio show to be aired on a major station called Rap Attack. A certified legend and lover of hip-hop music, Mr. Magic passed away in 2009 due to a heart attack. Mr. Magic, the Respect the DJs podcast, salutes you.